Can you tell us a little bit about how these results are gathered? I know a lot of us were like, okay, how are you determining where we're from?
So basically what Ancestry does is they use your DNA sample that you send in once you get this nice little handy box and you spin in the tube, and they cross-reference it with different databases that they have where they've gone around the world and tested populations of people who pretty much are homogeneous to those locations, whether it's in Africa, whether it's in Asia, or whether it's in Europe. And then they match your sample against those populations to determine the number or percentage of DNA or ethnicity that you have that comes from those groups.
Okay, Christina, your ancestry is...
Hey!
Wow, you are 80% African or from Africa. And there's a little Benin and Togo in there, Cameroon, Congo, Nigeria. You are 18%
Oh my
European.
God, I'm only 3% Irish.
Wow. You expected more than that, right?
I did. My great-grandmother always told me that our great-grandfather was Irish and that's where that came from, but she didn't know. Hey. From Europe West, I guess.
So Nika, can you explain these results to Christina?
Sure. So with something Christina just brought up is actually very important. When each child is conceived, it's like shaking dice when it comes to what they inherit from each parent when it comes to the ethnicities or the groups or races that people may identify with. And she mentioned her grandmother saying that her grandfather was Irish. Well, you have to remember, each time a person is born, the lineage from that side gets cut down in half. So her 3% actually may not be a stretch. That ancestor may actually be from Ireland or have ancestry from Ireland. It's just that by the time it gets to us, it's been cut down in half and half and half based on each generation. So don't hold out hope that the Irish person is there, because they probably are.
Rachel, girl.
Rachel.
It is your turn. Get in that hot seat.
Hey, girl.
Drum roll. Rachel, your ancestry is... Wow. You are 66% African and 34% European. And there's Mali in there, Nigeria. Wow. You have a really diverse mix. Rachel, did you see this coming?
I did not see this coming. I think I saw most of the bottom half and like 1/3 of the top half coming. So I didn't see the Nigeria coming.
Wow, there's some Irish in there, Great Britain. Nika.
A little bit of everything.
Nika, can you break it down for Rachel? This is an interesting result.
Sure, and believe it or not, you all, this is the typical African-American profile that you're looking at. A lot of us want to be what I call a unicorn, a genetic unicorn. We are 100% African. And by virtue of the transatlantic slave trade and just intermixing in, the North America, we are quite a unique group with the ethnicities that we have that are basically that we come from. And so on average, you'll see African Americans usually have between 10 and up to 60 and 70% European DNA.
Yolanda.
Yep.
Your ancestry is... Yolanda is 100% African.
I told you.
Millie rock for us. No, I'm just kidding.
I told you. I am 100% African.
Are you surprised by the breakdown of the results, though? I mean, there's a little mix in there.
Oh, there's no Nigeria.
Oh, sorry about that. But you do have a little Ivory Coast. So Yolanda has, let's see, what is that? 94% Africa, Southeastern Bantu, Africa, South Central, and Ivory Coast and Ghana, 1%.
Yeah.
Nika, what does this mean? Could it possibly include a little Nigeria? Yolanda's a little disappointed, Nika. Can you talk to her about this? Let's break it down.
I'm not disappointed, Nika. I'm so sorry. I'm just kidding.
She's kidding,
love
but
that I'm Ghanaian. But I am born and raised in South Africa, so I kind of knew. But I was curious about what parts of the continent that my people came from.
This is great.
So you are a unicorn. Like, you can hang your hat on that. I almost want to get you a badge that you could walk around the office with this, I'm 100% African, because a lot of African Americans strive to get to the result that you got. It's a big deal. And so the -1, or I think it's plus or minus 1% Ivory Coast, Ghana. You got to remember, Ghana's right next to Nigeria. So all of these populations, we're looking at right now maps that have man-made borders. And way back when, they didn't have these man-made borders. So your ancestor theoretically could have came to a region that was right next to Nigeria and then migrated down. And something else that I thought was interesting for you is this: when I looked at your results, I actually was like, oh, she's got to have both parents from Southern Africa. Like, it's impossible because otherwise she wouldn't show up as Southeastern Bantu. And some people are like, well, what is that? That's, Tanzania, Angola, South Africa. All of those places fall under Southeastern Bantu.